What's going on, you guys? This is Kevin with G.F.E, God, Family, and Everything Else podcast. So today I have a video that I want to go ahead and react to. There's big news going on in Louisiana where it looks like they are signing into law displaying the Ten Commandments in the school. Um, I believe it's going to be like a poster size that they're going to display for students to, obviously observe or walk by, or if they have any questions like that. When I heard this, I thought it was one of the greatest things, and the reason being is because lately, I wouldn't say lately, it's been going on for a while now, but a lot of schools are starting to move away from God. A lot of society is moving away from God and starting to chase other types of beliefs and things like that. And honestly, it makes me sad. Um, Internally, it makes me upset as well, but I can't force somebody to believe in truth. I can't force somebody to have a relationship with God. The best thing that we can do is openly and lovingly share it with other people and send them an invite, whatever questions that they may have. As followers of Christ, we are commanded to go out into the world and preach the gospel, making disciples of all nations. Honestly, giving them the truth and not sugarcoating it, not being afraid just because we're not going to be their friend or anything like that. But with this school, by adding the Ten Commandments in the school, many people might believe that this is a way of forcing it down people's throats, which I don't see it that way, because there's many things displayed in the school that a lot of people don't believe in. But it does create curiosity. It does create discussion. So why not have the Ten Commandments in there as well? And then students can read it, have any questions, they can disagree if they don't want to read it. They're not going to be forced to, they're not going to be graded on it, they're not going to be threatened just because they choose not to believe that. But it's great to have God back in the school, and then hopefully this spreads. But I want to react on this video that I have here. Looks like the governor is signing into law the bill to have the Ten Commandments displayed. So let's just go ahead, without further ado, play this.
Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry signed into law a bill requiring the Ten Commandments be easily readable on a poster-sized display in every publicly funded classroom in the state from kindergarten through college by 2025.
If you want to respect the rule of law, you got to start from the original lawgiver, which was Moses.
Republican State Representative Lauren Ventrella co-sponsored the bill.
Because I believe in it. Because I believe that these are important morals and ideals that our students should have access to read if they choose.
Opponents say they'll challenge the law based on the argument that it violates the constitutional premise of separation of church and state.
And this law flies in the face of that basic foundation.
However, Louisiana puts forth the Ten Commandments in not so much a religious, but rather a historical framework.
This is not forcing, requiring, sanctioning, coercing anybody to read this document. It's merely posting it there for the students to have the option to observe the historical and moral context of this text.
Likewise, experts say the fact
Got a point there. The historical context of this text, well, dating all the way back to Christ, the beginning of time, to be honest. And this is part of the Word. The Word was God. The Word was I'm getting that mixed up. It's in the book of John, and in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So this is part of God's Word, right? All the way back to the beginning. But let's go fast forward and talking about the United States. A lot of people want to argue that the United States was founded on Christian values. Some people don't want to believe that. Some people believe it was different. But I'm going to go ahead and touch more on that after this video, just to give a little bit further context and a better idea. And then you can choose to believe it or you choose not. But this is the information I was able to find, able to obtain, and then learn for myself, which I believe is the case. But yeah.
that Louisiana is displaying the Ten Commandments for their historical significance should also provide legal protection.
The Ten Commandments clearly form the foundation of law and government and have clearly shaped our law and our government policy. So having the Ten Commandments displayed anywhere, whether it's in public school or elsewhere, is very consistent with our history and our tradition of law and government.
Some legal analysts say today's Supreme Court will likely allow the Louisiana law to stand based on a high court ruling 2 years ago.
There's been a total shift in the United States Supreme Court with respect to overruling the 1971 Lemon versus Kurtzman case. It was that case that has been historically used to challenge Ten Commandments displays or One Nation Under God or nativity scenes.
Thankfully, the Supreme Court has ended that reign of tyranny, of that hostility.
That 2022 Supreme Court ruling, combined with the way Louisiana called for displaying the Ten Commandments based on their history and tradition rather than religious purposes, means other states will likely follow suit.
Well, we've been providing assistance and help to a number of legislatures around the country so that they can really digest this new era that we're in.
Notably, Louisiana requires a 4-paragraph attachment on each copy of the Ten Commandments, describing how they were a prominent part of American public education for almost 3 centuries, further emphasizing their history and tradition. The displays will also be paid for by private donations, not by the state. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
So what do you guys think? Like, honestly, I don't see like it as a bad idea. Why not? Right? Like I said, in today's culture, in today's society, there's a lot of things that are displayed throughout the school that I don't agree with. My boys go to school. There's things that are displayed there that I don't agree with, but they still go. But they choose not to listen to it because I have that discussion with them at home. It is my job as a dad to raise my boys up in having the foundation of knowing Christ and knowing God. You know, there's a temple down the street from us where a lot of people tend to walk by it and then they bow to it and then they continue on their way. My boys, they walk straight past it. They don't bow to it, they don't pray to it or anything, because I share with them the importance of who God is and then what this world is trying to tell them is acceptable, but they don't want to have God. So it's okay for what the world says, but it's not okay for what God says. And so again, in my kids' school, there's a lot of things displayed that I don't agree with, but they choose not to listen to it. They can engage with it if they want. They can engage with it or not to choose to engage with it. It's the same thing about the Ten Commandments. Having it displayed in the school, students have that choice, that option. So why is it that it's okay for worldly types of beliefs to be displayed, but the moment when God becomes the topic, people become so offended? And for me personally, I believe, like, deep down, many people believe God is real. People believe God is true. And I could be wrong. Who knows? I could be wrong. But it's just a lot of people have this misidea about Christianity or what the Bible is, or they completely twist God's word, or they don't read the text themselves. They hear it from somebody else, and then they form an idea and an opinion about what Christianity is about, when it's completely false, when they rather should just go to the text themselves. Or if they have a question, come to either a fellow Christian friend that they may have and help them have a conversation, have a discussion, that as long as it's mature, you know, not throwing fire at each other or anything like that. So my thoughts on this, I think it's great, but let's go back. They were talking about the historical account about this and talking about how the United States was founded on Christian values, which I believe that to be the case as well. The reason why now I'm saying this is because our founding fathers, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, we have James Madison, all of these founding fathers that signed the Declaration of Independence, right? They have values, but each one of them, they were all different. They had various different views or anything, right? Let's go with George Washington. He was known as a Episcopalian. You know, many public speeches supported the claim that he was a devoted Christian. All right. Thomas Jefferson made claims he was a Christian. But the thing about Thomas Jefferson, he claimed to be a Christian, but for some reason he didn't support the supernatural accounts that the Bible claims that happened, which is kind of weird. You accept one thing, but you reject the other. When it's God's word, you accept it all. But that's, I digress. Then we have James Madison. He is an Anglican, I believe Anglican. An Anglican is a Christian who worships God within the long tradition of English and Celtic Christianity, far back as the early years after Christ's death and resurrection. So, as you can see, many of these believed, without a doubt, that the Bible was like a supporting factor in their law and their how they founded the country, right? You look at it, we have equality, we have liberty, we have justice. That's all biblical principles. Yes, you can go down that long rabbit hole about other things, right? But that's what the Bible teaches, along with other things. Love your neighbor, love others, right? But then many people want to twist exactly what love your neighbors mean. So, well, long story short, nothing's wrong with having the 10 Commandments displayed in the school for students to walk by and that are curious about it. We have, again, many things displayed in school that are offensive to some, that are not offensive to others. And that's perfectly fine, but they don't want to make the case for the 10 Commandments being displayed. But with this comes to my understanding, right? In the Bible, it talks about, right? I'm going blank here. In 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy 2:19, and let me just go ahead and pull that up because that's important. In 2 Timothy 2:19, it says, "But God's firm foundation stands, bearing this seal: the Lord knows who are His, and let anyone who names the name of the Lord depart from iniquity." Reason why I'm saying that is because some people want to say, well, they weren't really Christians, or they weren't devoted or anything like that. But who are we to say if they were actually truly Christians or not? Yes, they had their scars, their faults, their things grow while they were here that you disagree with. There's a lot of stuff that I disagree with. A lot of people here that claim to be Christian, that they live their lifestyle because they're not following it 100%. I'm the same way. Do I follow the Bible 100%? No, I don't. But do I pursue to try to do that every day, asking the Lord's help? Yes. So you can't look at them and just start judging, because there are things that you've done that I'm sure you're not proud of, but it's okay for you to point the finger. That's not how it should work, all right? But this is what God is saying. God knows, bearing the seal, God knows whose are His. Who are true, strong believers that actually want to get better, actually want to pursue Him. And then if you look in 1 Timothy 2:2, it said, "For kings and all who are in high positions, that may lead a peaceful and quiet life, godly and dignified in every way." So kings and all who are in high authority. Who are the high authorities? Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, George Washington. All of these top presidents that were founding fathers of the United States. So why not? Right? But those are my thoughts that I wanted to share with you. Again, you may agree, you may disagree, but that's perfectly fine. That's why I have this channel. We can have a good discussion, as long as we're not just being disrespectful to each other. Perfectly fine. But let me know what your thoughts are on this. Let me know in a respectful way, really, honestly, because I'm not all about sending hate. Just because somebody doesn't choose to believe in the Lord, I'm not gonna hate them or condemn them. It's just another opportunity to get to know them and then see where they are coming from. So, and that's what the Bible teaches. Don't force it down other people's throats, but be happy to share it with others. So if you can, go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button on this channel. Again, I keep saying that we are looking to expand God's kingdom with this channel, hoping to affect other people at the same time to help me grow and continue to mature in the Lord. That's the sole purpose of this channel, and I hope you enjoyed it. So I'll see you in the next video. Peace.